on May 20th. She came out 6 pounds, 12 ounces, 22 inches long. I had her at 7:13 a.m. and it was one of the best days of my life. On May 19th, I went into labor. When I woke up that morning, my stomach was like weird. Everybody kept saying your baby's gonna come today because like it just looked so weird. The whole week I had been trying to have her. I ended up having her at 37 weeks 5 days, but I had been trying to have her because I ended up getting really bad bruised ribs when I was pregnant because my abdomen wouldn't stretch outward, so she was like just pushed up, so her foot was like stuck in my rib like the whole last trimester. So it was getting really painful and it was like miserable. Like every day I woke up I was so miserable. And the guy that I'm dating, I would FaceTime him every day, like, this sucks, I'm still pregnant. Like, I was just miserable. It was bad. Like, I feel so bad for him, but he was like really supportive. So around 8 o'clock I had went to the grocery store with my friend, and I told her, I was like, I think Noah's gonna come today, so be ready. Like, if I call you, answer. Like, so she was like, okay. I was like, make sure you keep your phone with the ringer up, because like I knew she was coming. I was having like minor contractions, but it wasn't anything, and my stomach had been shifted to the side all day. If I'm able to, I'm gonna insert a picture so you guys can see how my stomach looked that morning. It was so weird. Like, she was just like, it looked weird. But around 11 p.m. my contractions hit, and they hit bad, and they were like 2 minutes apart, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I think I'm really in labor. So I had FaceTime the guy that I'm dating, and I was like, I think I'm in labor. And he was like, we'll go to the hospital. And I was like, no, because I had went already yesterday, the day before. And I was like, I didn't want to go and get sent home, because nobody wants to go to the hospital and be sent back home every day. Like, I know they were tired of seeing me, so I'm like, no. Like, I didn't want to go. So I was like, I'm going to wait it out. I was like, I'm not going to go unless my water breaks. My water didn't break, but we're going to get to that. So it hit about 12. I'm still on FaceTime with him. The contractions get so bad to like where I start crying. Like, I shed like some tears. I was like, it was painful. But it's weird that I cried now because I didn't cry and I got to the hospital. But anyways, so the contractions started getting really close. And I don't know if he suggested that I take a warm bath or if I suggested it. But I ended up getting in a tub. So I took like a warm bath for about 30 minutes. My contractions still kept coming 2 minutes apart. I was having him time them like while I was in the bathtub, and they still were coming like 2 minutes apart. I got out the bath and I got on my birthing ball, and I bounced on that for a little, and they still were like pretty bad. It's now about 1 o'clock. So they're like still pretty painful. I'm like telling him like I'm in pain, like I don't know what to do. He's like, go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait it out. He's like, no, you need to go to the hospital, they're getting pretty bad. But I knew that I wanted to have her natural, so my biggest fear was going to the hospital and them convince me to get an epidural or something. So I was like, I might as well stay home since I really don't need much help from the hospital. So, and I had a midwife anyway, so it was just like I really didn't need to go, because like she was gonna answer whenever I called and told her that I was going in. So then it hits about 2 o'clock and it gets so painful. Like, I'm in so much pain and I'm like still trying to fight it off. I'm like, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. I was like, I'm just gonna wait for my water to break. I don't know why I thought, like, in the movies your water break and then, you know, you get like these really bad contractions. So I thought it was gonna get way worse. So I'm like, there's no point in me going now, it's gonna get worse. So I might as well wait till it gets bad. So then it gets to the point to where I just can't take it anymore, and I told him, I was like, I'm gonna call you back, because I had to call my friend to come get me to take me to the hospital. So I called her and I was like, can you come get me? I need to go to the hospital, I think I'm really in labor. So she came and got me. When I was going down the steps, I had these really steep stairs on the side of my house, like steep. So I'm walking down the steps and I'm having a contraction while I'm going down the steps. So I'm like, ow, ow, and I just started crying. I was like, I'm in so much pain. So I get in the car. I think I was on the phone with Brandon again. I don't know how I ended back on the phone with him. That's the guy that I'm dating. So I was on the phone with him and I was like, I'm gonna call you back because I'm going to the hospital. Then I got to the hospital and they didn't think I was in labor. I came in, I was like, I'm hungry, and so the nurse that was in there was like, well, if you're hungry, you're not really in labor. Like, they were just saying all this stuff. So she hooked me up to the baby monitor thing so they could monitor my contractions. So these nurses were terrible. They were terrible. They kept, like, okay, so she came in, she hooked me up to the thing, took forever to do that. So she hooked me up to the monitor, and she was saying, oh yeah, your contractions are bad, but they might go away, they might still be Braxton Hicks. Remind you, they're 2 minutes apart. That's not Braxton Hicks. Anyways, so she hooked me up to that. They just walk out the room, they leave me in there for like forever. They come back, check my cervix. Remind you, I went there at 3. They come in, check my cervix, and she was like, oh, you've dilated some more. So she left. They left me in there again for like forever. My friend was still there with me. She had to be at work at 6:30, so she was going to be there until she had to be at work. So I remember sitting in there. I was just in there by myself. It was just really terrible, actually. Like, I don't know. I expected to be a lot different, but like they just kept walking out the room, leave me in there. Then I remember I was having a contraction, and the nurse wanted to check my cervix while I was having a contraction. I said, can you wait? And she still went on to try to check my cervix while I was having a contraction. So that made me mad. I'm like, really? Like, why do you check my cervix while I'm contracting? Clearly I'm not going to stand still. Then she's like, stop moving. I'm having pain shooting through me right now, and you're trying to check my cervix. So they come back, and they checked me, and I was like 7 centimeters. This was about 6 o'clock. Gerald had to be at work at 6:30, so she gets up and leaves. When she leaves out the room, I screamed because I had this really bad contraction. And I had been doing really good. Like, they were pretty good. But this one, it like literally made me scream because like when the contraction came, it felt like her head was about to fall out of me. And so I screamed. They came in and was like, oh, we're about to check your cervix. So she goes and checks my cervix, and as soon as she checks, she goes, and her eyes got really big. So I got scared. I'm like, she was like, yeah, you're 10 centimeters. The baby is crowned. I was like, oh! I was like, where's my midwife? I was like, where's she at? My midwife is still not at the hospital. I'm freaking out because I'm like, no, these nurses are not about to deliver my baby. No, because the nurses were terrible. Like, I did not like the labor and delivery nurses at all. Like, they were terrible. So I'm sitting there freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my midwife? Like, so she gets there. It's about 7 o'clock when she gets there. I pushed for 13 minutes, I believe. Yeah, I pushed for 13 minutes because I had her at 7:13. But the pushing part, here we go with this. So it was time for me to push, and I didn't know how to push. They told me I was pushing wrong. I was pushing like, they was like, no, you don't blow out air when you push. So she was like, push like you have to poop. And she was like, you don't blow out air, just push like, So like I'm trying to push. I didn't have her laying down. I had her in like a squatting position. So I'm like holding on to my knees and like squatting and like trying to push at the same time. So I'm like, so I get her head out, and her head is out, but her shoulders weren't out yet. But I thought once the head is out, they pull the rest out. So her head came out, and I stopped pushing. And my midwife was like, no, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. I'm like, I can't. I don't know why I said I can't, but I just like, I can't. And she was like, no, but you have to. And I was like, but I can't.
Push it, 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 push it. Go get the money, go get the money. Go get the money, go get the money. Okay.
And I wasn't on drugs or anything, so I don't know why I said that. So she was like, what did she say to me? She was like, you have to get the shoulders out. We can't just pull out the head. So they tried to get me to push again, but like I had forgot how to push again. So it was weird. Nothing was like, she wasn't coming out. It was just weird. But I ended up getting out her shoulders, I think. Yeah, I got. So I started pushing again, and then the rest of it came out, and it was like blah, 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 and gross. But I mean, that was my natural labor and delivery story. It wasn't anything like fantastic. Like, I don't know. I expected it to be like psh, this magical moment. When she came out, she wasn't crying. So that was weird. And then then she looked at the doctor and she let out this scream, and I was like, woo, she lied. Because I was worried. I was like, is she okay? Like, I don't know. I watched too many movies. I expected her to come out screaming. She didn't come out screaming, but I ended up delivering her all alone. Like, nobody was there. Gerald had just left and went to work. That was my friend that took me to the hospital. When I was having my contractions, those hours while I was there, I FaceTimed the guy that I was dating for part of it. He was tired, so I let him go to sleep because I didn't want to keep him up. So I let him go to sleep. But yeah, after she came out, it was just like, wow, like, I'm really not pregnant anymore. It was so weird after like being pregnant for 9 months and having this big old belly. It was like a relief. It's like, I don't know if I was really excited because because she was there, or if I was excited because she wasn't in me anymore, but it was nice. I felt a huge relief on my ribs because I had bruised ribs from 8 months all the way up until I had her, so that was terrible. Like, my bruised ribs sucked. But that was it. I love my daughter to death. That was one of the best, like, experiences ever. If I can do anything different, I would not have went to the hospital at all. At all. If you want to have a natural birth, try a birthing center. Don't go to a hospital. My labor just went by really fast, but if you want like a certain experience, try more of a birthing center, because in the hospital I feel like they just didn't care. Like, I don't know if it was just me, but I just feel like they just left me alone. I was in the room by myself most of it. Like, they just kept coming in. They would check my service. They would leave. Like, they didn't ask me if I needed anything. They didn't ask me if I needed ice or anything. And I was having a natural birth, so I was in a lot of pain. Like, it's not easy. My contractions were 2 minutes apart. They lasted for 45 seconds. It wasn't easy, but I don't regret it. Like, I don't regret going natural. I will have all my kids natural. Like, I will not get an epidural at all. It's not happening this way. But it was great. Yeah. That's it.